Hello, today I'm so excited. I'm going to unbox a 200mm macro lens, and if you're not excited, you should be, because there's not very many 200mm macro lenses. Oh my gosh, let's get to it. Welcome to this channel. It's for you macro landscape nature photographers who want to build a profitable business. And with that said, we need the tools that will make our work attract clients. So basically what they're saying on the working distance is 25.6 centimeters, which is 10.8 inches. And of course you have the 1x magnification. But what I like is now I don't have to get so close to my subjects. I love that. I don't scare them. So the 200 was something that I was really excited to try. Now, it says 4.0, it's not that fast. It's not a 2.3, which I would love to have. But mentioned Canon has a 150, I think it's 3.5, so it's not that much difference. Normally, like Canon lenses will have a red dot. Look, there it is. There's the red dot. See, it's very faint. You just want to, it's just easier to line up so you don't mess anything up. Okay, let's see. Click. Once you hear that clicking with the tripod, you don't want to attach it to this. I'm going to take this off and put it on this because it's so heavy you don't want your tripod to fall. As you can see, it's a very beautiful lens. It's pure metal. I love that it's metal. It feels very good in my hands and I'm excited. It is heavy, but it's nothing compared to the 70 to 200 that I have, so I'm not complaining. And a lot of times I do use a tripod, but I'm going to test this out both with tripod and handheld. Okay, so let's take this lens outside so we can talk about it in more detail. All right, so this lens is a pure manual lens. So if you're a new photographer and don't really understand how to photograph, I would not buy this. But the glass is so good that this is a beautiful lens. I want you to pay attention to this. You can see that this right here, the first part and the dot, tells you this is at f11. Some of you guys may photograph f22. When I photograph, I always go to f8 and then stack my photographs, which I'm taking. If you don't know what stack is, I'll show you a video. For those of you that do not know how or want to improve on your focus stacking, you can go to this channel and obviously subscribe, right? But go to this area, focus stacking for macro photographers, and I teach you from the beginning all the way to advanced focus stacking so you get everything in focus. And I also use it for landscape photography. If you want to see everything in focus, which I love, this is the place where you'll learn it right here. So this is how you change your f-stop. You don't do it on the camera, you do it on the lens. You change your f-stop here. I'll leave it at f8 because that's what I love. That's f-stop. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you. The lens has feet. So basically, us Americans still are working on the feet system, and then they have the metric, right? So here is the 30 feet, 15, 10, 7, 5. This is what is in focus. As you put it on here, you know you have that distance that's in focus, okay? So that helps you too. You know, generally, I mean, you're not going to get a ruler out, but you'll at least have a general idea of the foot range. But what I like, again, is 200 millimeters, so it's telling you you got 1.8 feet. And then here, because my 100 macro, you have to get closer. I don't have to get closer with this 200, so the critters now will be easier to photograph. Here we go is a 1 foot 6 inches. When you see the 1:1, that means this lens is at pure macro, 1:1 ratio for macro photography. Then you can go over here by changing it, which I'll show you examples. Here is 1:2. So it's not strictly 1:1, it's 1:2 ratio of photographing. Then they give you 1:3 ratio. And 1:4 ratio. Then they go to 1:5 ratio. And they don't put it on here, but you could just infinity. So if you want to photograph far away, you can. Let's go find some subjects to shoot hand holding and outside, because again, it's 200 millimeter. Let's see what we could do. As I walk through the campsite that we're at in New Hampshire for this video, there's some beautiful wildflowers here and some really amazing beetles and bugs. There really is a whole universe of tiny creatures and intricate textures waiting for all of us to discover. As you can see, I can focus on delicate details of the flower and yet have a beautiful background because it's blurred. So it really stands out. The flowers stand out, which really excites me. Normally I have to do that in post-processing if I want an image like this. Now let's check out some insects. Well, I love this beetle, and as I got closer, it would get mad and put its back legs up. But as you can see here, because it's 200 millimeter, it didn't. It was so much fun having a photo shoot with this beetle. What I love about it is the colors and the details that I hit the mark with this lens. So remember that it is important to note that macro photography, especially with a longer lens like this, comes with its own challenges. One of the major problems is stability, obviously, and focus due to the narrow depth of field. And you definitely will have this here. It's a challenge worth overcoming though. So let's go ahead now and put on the tripod, put this lens and camera on the tripod and see how it does. So one of the problems that we have as macro photographers, especially when you get into like flowers where they're really saturated. So let's take this orange flower and yellow flowers, and let's just check out some saturated flowers. I took several different shots and then decided to merge them together to see if I was actually going to get detail, because sometimes this happens where it just turns into a mush. It's a color calibration thing, but also the lenses can make it worse. So let's see what this does. I probably should have done a little bit more. You could see where I've missed the focus point, and that means that I needed more stacking than what I'm used to, probably because it's 200 millimeter. So you have to, it's a learning process for sure. As you can see, it did a great job. I'm really impressed. It really did a good job, so I like that. When I post-process, I like to add sharpening. I feel like I need to add a little bit more sharpening. I'm always sharpening anyways, don't you? Okay, this lens right here, the reason why they can get the cost down is because it's purely manual. Understand this. You will manually change your aperture on the lens. You will manually focus your shot with the lens. It does not have autofocus. So I don't want to hear down in the comments, I'm being truthful to you, but it doesn't automatically focus. Well, if you're a macro photographer, you will understand the closer you get to the subject, there's no way that you can use auto focus. That's why I share how to stack, so you can take several shots and put them together so they look beautiful. I love this lens for outdoors, obviously, because you have the 200mm, which is wonderful. I'm older now, so I take a variety of shots with different areas that I want to focus on, and then I choose the best. And there you have it, our adventure with the 200mm macro lens, from the intricate details of bugs and flowers to being farther away from your subjects and what it can do. It really does open a whole new world for us to explore. Feel free to ask questions down below. Until next week, capture the beauty around you and be valued by building a profitable photography business. Have a great day. Cheers.